They took everything from me that night, my freedom, my future, my faith in justice. But they couldn't take my mother's last words. "You were strong." 12 years behind bars for a crime I didn't commit taught me what strength really means. My name is Sarah. I was 23 when the handcuffs clicked shut around my wrists, sealing a fate I never deserved. But this story begins long before that moment in a one-room house where poverty was our only constant companion. I was born into hardship, raised by hands that never stopped working. When I was 10, my father's heart gave out, leaving my mother to carry the weight of our world alone. She scrubbed floors until her knees bled, took in laundry until her fingers cracked, but her smile never wavered. That small house echoed with her tired laughter and fierce determination. By 13, I was working alongside her cleaning houses, washing dishes, my small hands earning coins we desperately needed. Every penny went to her, and every night she'd hold my face in her worn palms and whisper, "My strong girl." I didn't feel strong. I felt like I was drowning in exhaustion, but I'd smile back because her hope was all we had. The sickness came without warning. One morning, my mother couldn't stand. Her legs, once so steady, betrayed her completely. We had no money for doctors, no insurance, no safety net. I watched her fade day by day, holding her hand, as she grew smaller in that narrow bed. The night she died, she was still smiling, still calling me strong even as life slipped away in my arms. Grief nearly destroyed me. The funeral costs took everything we had saved. I left that house carrying nothing but her final promise, that I would never give up, no matter how dark the world became. The Whitmore estate was my salvation, or so I thought. Behind those iron gates lived wealth I couldn't fathom. Mrs. Whitmore was gentle kindness personified. She'd bring me tea during long shifts, ask about my dreams with genuine curiosity. Her husband stayed buried in business calls, distant but harmless. Their son Daniel carried anger in his shoulders, never acknowledging my existence, but I understood troubled souls. For months, this was my world. A small room above the garage, steady pay, and the first stability I'd known since childhood. Mrs. Whitmore treated me like family, sharing stories over afternoon tea, asking about my mother with tears in her eyes. I thought I'd finally found my place. Then came the sirens. The morning started like any other, opening the gates, checking the grounds. Suddenly, police cars flooded the driveway, officers shouting orders, boots pounding against marble floors. They found the family slaughtered inside their own home, blood painting walls that once held laughter. I stood frozen as they snapped handcuffs around my wrists. The only person present. No working cameras. No witnesses. Just me, covered in blood I couldn't explain, trying to convince deaf ears of my innocence. They said I had motive, that Mrs. Whitmore's kindness was manipulation, that I'd grown resentful of their wealth. They said the blood on my hands told the whole story. I screamed the truth until my voice broke. But truth means nothing without proof. The public defender they assigned barely looked at my case. In court, he mumbled through a defense that sounded like surrender. The judge seemed eager to close another file. When the word guilty echoed through that courtroom, my legs gave out. Life in prison at 23, for loving the only family who'd shown me kindness since my mother died. Prison strips away everything except your core. In that concrete box, I learned that survival isn't about strength. It's about refusing to disappear. The walls pressed closer each night, but I held on to my mother's voice, her unshakable belief in who I was beneath the accusations. 12 years, 4,380 days of counted meals, monitored conversations, and dreams of sunlight. I stopped marking time and started marking moments, small victories that kept hope breathing in the darkness. Then everything changed with a single phone call. Construction workers renovating the house next to the Whitmore estate found something extraordinary: an old security camera, hidden behind ivy, still containing footage from that terrible night. The video was grainy but unmistakable, a figure moving toward the house hours before my shift began. Someone the family knew. Someone they trusted. My new lawyer, David Chun, fought like my life depended on it, because it did. He demanded DNA testing on evidence that had been ignored for over a decade. Broken glass from inside the house yielded genetic material that wasn't mine. The database match revealed the truth that had been buried for 12 years. Daniel's best friend, Tyler Morrison, addicted to drugs, desperate for money, with unrestricted access to the house. After the murders, he'd vanished completely, changed his identity, and built a new life while I rotted behind bars for his crimes. The day they opened my cell for the final time, I stepped into sunlight that felt like rebirth. No cameras waited, no family celebrated, no crowds cheered. Just me, blinking in the brightness of freedom I'd almost forgotten existed. I had nothing: no home, no money, no connections to the world that had moved on without me. Hunger drove me to a small bakery where a woman with kind eyes saw my desperation and handed me bread without questions. That simple act of humanity reminded me that goodness still existed. At the park, an elderly man named William offered me work sweeping paths and collecting trash. He paid me in sandwiches and small bills, but more importantly, he paid me in dignity. Every day he'd nod approvingly at my efforts and say, "Good work brings good things." William introduced me to a support group of people society had failed former inmates, recovering addicts, those forgotten by systems meant to protect them. In that circle of broken but healing souls, I found something I'd lost long ago: belonging. They helped me find employment, secure housing, navigate a world transformed by 12 years of technological advancement. Each small victory felt monumental after a lifetime of losses. The work was challenging, the adjustments overwhelming, but I faced each day with the strength my mother had always seen in me. Life carved deep scars across my spirit, left wounds that may never fully heal. There were moments in that cell when